Graphene, cracking the Roswell code, coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody and welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. This is the channel where we talk about mysteries, conspiracies, and things that have to do with Mormons or Latter-day Saints, Freemasons, and extraterrestrials. Well, today it's extraterrestrials, my friends, and we are going to talk about what happened in 1947 and how that is relating to what is happening now with the revolution in what is called graphene technology. So very quickly, what is graphene technology? Well, graphene is a one atom thick structure that is made by separating basically lead pencil etchings from a piece of paper with a piece of tape or two pieces of tape, however you do it, but just separating these down until you get it to be a molecule thin. Now, two researchers got a Nobel Prize in it in 2010, and I just want to get their names right so that you will not think I'm some kind of a moron. And the first one was Novoselov, and the other one was Game, and they were all both working at Manchester University in jolly old England. So they separated one molecule, one atom thick carbon, what they call graphene, which is basically just pencil etchings. All right, so what is the big deal about that? Well, the big deal about that is I'm just going to run over some of the properties of it. It is a superconductive material. That means that nothing that we found yet can conduct electricity faster than graphene, stronger than steel. The estimates vary from 20 to 200 times stronger than steel, but yet almost 12 times lighter than steel, okay? And then it has other amazing properties as well. If you heat it up, it actually shrinks. And if you cool it, it expands, which is the opposite of what every other material on Earth does. It is basically two molecules thick. They have found to be basically bulletproof. You cannot penetrate it with a high velocity projectile. All right. And they are finding uses for it in such things as energy because it's superconductive. Of course, construction because it's stronger, lighter than steel, and easier to make. It is being used in fabrics because fabrics retain their colors, their elasticity, because graphene also can stretch out to 25% of its size. So all of these wonderful things that this wonderful material can do. And the question is, why hasn't anybody put this together, and why does it always take Deceptions of the Ages News to do this? Now, the fact of the matter is, graphene is nothing new. We saw it before. And where did we see it before? Well, let's take you back to 1947 and let's go to Roswell, New Mexico, where a major has just got some debris he's found from an aircraft crash, and he's brought it home to his son, Jesse Marcel Jr. And Jesse Marcel, who later talked about this and opened up the whole Roswell ball of wax, described this material as stronger than steel. You couldn't tear it. If you squeezed it, it just folded back out to the same way that it was before. They couldn't penetrate it with anything, and it was super light. They thought it was aluminum foil, and this is one of the reasons that the Project Mogul, the balloon project, was later used as a cover story for this discovery, because based on this material. So also, this is not what Jesse Marcel said, but the people who were supposedly, or the aliens in the craft, were wearing these suits that they looked like, they couldn't tell, but they were spun on. Okay, so let's just talk about what happened out of that Roswell crash, and people have had their opinion about it, but we have to go back to Colonel Corso, and he said that we got our fiber optic cables, we got night vision goggles, and we got the idea for Kevlar, or this layered bulletproof material, from the Roswell crash. And of course, people say, no, this was being worked on by so many people for all these years. But where did they get the idea? All right, so how do we tie graphene to Roswell? Well, we just have to look at the date, and I have to consult my note for a second here. I apologize for that. I normally don't do this, but I have to have this right. Philip Wallace in 1947, mind you, discovered graphene, and they could not figure out how to make it, right? So 1947, graphene is discovered. They can't figure out how to do it, but over the years, people have been playing with it, and finally it looks like we have got this material that was used to build the Roswell spaceship. And another property that I want to explain to you is that at a molecule thin, or an atom thin, it becomes transparent. However, you can still see it. Now, this also describes people that have been inside these crafts, supposedly, and say that the craft, you can see everything on it from the outside. Now, with a little bit of tweaking of the material, you can probably make it so that it is not only invisible, or not invisible, but I want to, so you can see through it. I just cannot think of the word. And also that this material, we know now, conducts electricity. So in the future, we'll have like paint that has that will have this graphene in it that will light up your house just from your own paint on your walls. All right, so it has all of these wonderful materials that are traced back to the Roswell crash. So graphene, what is the future of it? Why isn't it out there? Why isn't everything being produced with it? Well, the fact of the matter is, slowly it is being produced, and it is beginning to be produced on a massive scale. And people just haven't kept up with it because people are watching Trump and these crazy hearings and these nutcases in Washington. But there are some amazing technological advances happening with this graphene. Now, there are some technological limitations to graphene in that, what happens if a country starts to use it on their aircraft, and suddenly a jet that weighs 6 times less goes into combat with, the traditional style jet? It's going to kick its butt, right? So these are all technological things that are the reason they have put the brakes on this stuff not being mass produced, and why we're not seeing it all over. And it could be one of the reasons that we might not see it for a long time, because this technology may just get locked up into black projects. All right, so that is the story on the graphene revolution and its connection to Roswell. So I encourage you to investigate this. I hate to say it, it's not rocket science, but it is very important. So this is Deceptions of the Ages News, and we'll see you next time. Go Cougs!